ended up on a hospital bed. It was early Monday morning when I woke up because of how my mom was chanting my name. I woke up still feeling sleepy. I went straight to her room without washing my face. Upon reaching there, I saw her on the phone talking to someone I didn't know. I was so annoyed because she wasn't even ready to tell me why she called me. After what felt like a year, she finally ended her call. I saw her smile at me, but I didn't smile back because of how annoyed I was. I rolled my eyes, still sitting on the bed, to listen to what she wanted to say. She started saying a whole lot which I didn't hear. Suddenly jumped off the bed with one thing I heard. All the sleep and annoyance playing on, and my face got replaced by happiness. I went straight to my room with the joy of how I will be spending my week in this long vacation. Without wasting time, I started packing my clothes. The nicest clothes and shoes were now in my favorite traveling bag. I took my bath and put on my pink jam suit. My bestie gifted me with a block shoe that matched my Louis Vuitton handbag. It was 9 a.m. when I finished. I didn't bother to take my breakfast. I headed outside when I heard the sound of a car. I waved my parents and got into the car. This was going to be the best week ever at my Auntie Mabel's home with Kathy, my cousin. The journey was going to take about 2 hours drive. When I was in the car, I thought of how I had suffered in convincing my parents in allowing me to spend a day or two in my auntie's house. It seems my parents think Katie is a bad influence. My cousin is my age mate. We are both 22 years of age, but she is 2 months older than me. She's a very beautiful girl. I wonder how she's able to cope with guys hitting on her most of the time. Well, she has always been the tough girl, just like her mother, and me being the opposite of her. I was drawn back from my thoughts when the car finally stopped. Right after I got out of the car and I saw Katie run to me. She gave me a tight hug. We went inside and I noticed my aunt was not home. I felt so happy that I couldn't contain my happiness. I just couldn't believe my parents let me go this time. Katie dragged me without letting me have a look around the house. She took me to her room. It was nicely painted in pink with family portraits on the wall. She also had a couch and a wardrobe at the other side of the room. I placed my bag beside the wardrobe and we went downstairs to have breakfast. Katie prepared her favorite orange juice with sliced bread and sausages, which I was so thankful for. I noticed how Katie was smiling while looking at her phone. I asked her and she told me how she met her boyfriend Charles. She told me everything about him, how handsome he is and how she loves him. She then told me there was going to be a party tonight around 10 p.m. at a friend's house. I frowned hearing that because I knew she would sneak out of the house without her parents knowing. After eating, I washed the dishes. While doing that, I noticed someone hug me from behind. I turned and hugged her back and realized how much I've missed my auntie. We watched a 2-hour movie, prepared dinner, and discussed how we would go by tomorrow. I knew that this week was going to be great. I went straight to bed around 7:06 p.m. because I was tired. When I woke up, it was around 11:30 p.m. I saw a short-laced fitting straight dress on the bed. I immediately knew that Katie was getting ready for the party. But what I found strange was that there was another high-waist jumper and a white. When Katie was done getting ready, she asked me to get ready as well. I didn't object because deep down I wanted to go. She opened the window and we sneaked out, and there was a car waiting for us outside. The ride to the party took about 30 minutes. I saw people staring at us because of how beautiful we looked. The party was a huge one. We sat down and ordered some drinks. I saw Katie looking at her wristwatch, so I asked if she was waiting for her boyfriend. She said yeah, and that this mansion belonged to him and the car that drove us here. No wonder a whole Katie would sneak into a party. We saw a guy approaching us with a pretty lady behind him. I guessed from his looks that he might be Katie's boyfriend because she got up to speak to him. To my surprise, the lady behind him didn't give Katie the chance to talk to him. She walked in front of him and intentionally spilled a drink on Katie's dress. She smiled and said sorry and kissed the guy's cheek. Katie stood there dumbfounded. I got up and stupidly stood in front of the lady for some second and slapped the girl so hard that everyone heard the sound in that noisy room. Hours later, I found myself at the hospital beaten up by the girl I thought was stealing my cousin's boyfriend. I saw my parents and Katie in the room. My mom smiles bitterly at me. After realizing I just ruined my dreamed week vacation, I found a tear dropped on my cheek. This is the most stupid thing I've ever done, and it turned out the lady was Charles' sister who hated Katie to the core. That's how I ended up in the hospital.